My God, guys, what was that today? I feel like we didn't trade today, we survived today. It was just absolutely insane out there. Now, the markets didn't open up, totally bad or anything like that. The markets actually opened up in a really good spot, which gave way to some small caps to really take center stage, and that's what we've been waiting for. The problem was that the lead gapper, I would really say, was a lead gapper from about 3 days ago, APRN. And this thing is on its fourth big green day, and that's typically not something I want to be trading. So I didn't trade it at first. And it was, screeched above $25. And, just keep in mind, APRN was just at $2 a few days, or was it, no, like a week or two ago. And so now it's at $25 or $22.70. Doesn't matter. I'll show you guys in the charts in a second here. The point is, I knew there was going to be a lot of shorts waiting to short this, or probably already shorting this, and that's why it's so up. That's why it's up so much, because it shouldn't be up this much. It had no real catalyst. It was just kind of up on like home delivery, food supplies, and that kind of niche, because people are staying at home more right now and self-quarantine and stuff like that. But yeah, let me get back on focus. APRN basically runs up to $28, and then boom, it's like somebody turned the switch off on the momentum, and you could just feel it. At the time, I was dip buying WTRH, which was having a similar experience. It was also on its fourth big green day, and we were dip buying it, and we got halted in that one. It's gonna be, I'll show it to you guys in a second as well. So I was halted in twice today. It just almost never happens, especially this aggressively. And APRN, it dipped from 228.84 to 10.20s. I don't know, it was like 10.26 or 10.25. That was a 65% dip, and it was getting halted the whole way down, just bam, 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 bam. You don't know when this thing is going to stop. I ended up buying at about 14.27 or something, like 14.22 or something like that. Wow, that was a roller coaster of emotions. I can't wait to show you guys how we traded this one, why we traded it, how we got out, what happened. A lot to recap, but I knew the bounce was going to be big, because usually bounces are just a bunch of dip buyers. But this time it was dip buyers plus people, shorts, covering their positions. And when you cover a short, you have to buy back the shares that you originally borrowed and sold into the market. So this bounce I knew was going to be really, really strong. And actually the first two candles of the bounce got halted into. So it was first green candle hold, second green candle hold. It was just insane. So yes, super scary day, but somehow we made it out green. Really, really nice. And I have to contribute that to, the first trade that we did. I stuck to my plan. I knew what I wanted. I placed a limit order and we got that trade. It was perfect. We could have even held it a little bit longer and basically doubled it, but you want to take profits when you have them. And I want to talk a little bit more about how today could have been a much more profitable day if I just stuck to my plan even more, because I called out a few moves that ended up happening, but I kind of missed them because once the market opened, I was a little bit too overwhelmed. Everything was moving. So pre-market, I should have, stuck to my plan a little bit more, maybe even put out a few more limit orders, who knows? But I want to review APRN and just everything else that we were watching today and all the trades that we did today. So let's go to the charts now. And remember, if you enjoy this content, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're totally new here, I would love to see you again. So definitely consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon too. I know you love the community. It's growing more and more every day. And it's just a lot of learning between everyone. Enough of me. Let's go to the charts. Man, so there we have it. Oh, what an absolute crazy day. And here it is. APRN hit, well, it almost hit $15, but we had that limit order to get out about 14.75, or what was that, 14.70 something. I think it's here. I could probably find it. Do APRN. I canceled this order a few times. So APRN 14.27 here, 14.76. So that's exactly where I wanted to get out originally on this big bounce back to the upside. But it just, it just really didn't work out. We were at like 14.35 or something like that, and I was waiting for just a little bit more pop to the upside, but we had this 15-minute EMA coming in. We had some big resistance at $14, and I didn't want to get caught in one of these big red candles. This one went down about 6-7%. It could have easily gone down 10-15% in just 1 minute, so I didn't want to be part of that, or else I probably would have had to force close my position, and I was already red on this entry because yeah, this was insane. This was insane. So let's start with reviewing APRN. And APRN was a stock that I didn't want to touch initially. It's on its fourth big green day. Obviously now it's a red day, but it was green. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4 big moves here. And these moves all ran up on zero catalyst. I mean, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a little bit more interesting to use a company like Blue Apron where you can get home delivery of food, but there's nothing that changed fundamentally about this company. It wasn't like a biotech that got some sort of revolutionary FDA approval. And I think I'm not the only one that thought that. So there was people shorting this whole entire move up. And what I really honestly believe is this whole entire move here was a short squeeze. So basically shorts buying or selling into the market, hoping the price goes lower, and then covering their position, buying back the shares at a lower price and profiting the difference. So basically short selling. But as the price goes up, let's quickly go here to this. Let's say you short right here at 25, and you're hoping that the price is going to go down, but it doesn't go down, and before you know it, it goes down a little bit, but before you know it, the price starts spiking back up. Being a short seller, you have to really watch out because you don't know if you're going to be shorting a stock that goes from $2 to $20, right? It happens sometimes. So if you did that, you would own an exponential amount on the money that you originally invested. So when you trade long, you can only ever lose as much as you put in, but if you short sell, you can lose much more than that. So what happens is your broker basically either, back in the day, they would probably call you, but today they'll just force sell your entry, which means they have to buy back the shares, which drives the price higher. So you get these just ridiculous moves that don't really make sense. And before you know it, there's so many short sellers that are finally right that they just drive the price down super fast. But till they're right, they're also driving the price up a lot. And I was waiting for this big crash, and we finally got it, but I entered way too early. And APRN, I didn't do any of the trading on the upside. I thought it was overextended on day one. So down here, I was like, APRN, this is ridiculous. I mean, like, there's no reason they should be up so much. And the next day I was like, okay, well, they're at the 180-day moving average, good move, APRN. I was so bearish on APRN. It's almost unusual how bearish I was. But they had a 13 million float, so this thing could really move. Their market cap now is 186 million, which is huge. They traded over $250 million today, $318 million in dollar volume. So this was the most thickly traded small cap we had today. Insane. I feel like I'm all over the place talking about this because that's how I felt about it. Yeah, so this thing was halted so many times. Each one of these is a halt, and the halts typically last 5 minutes. The halts on APRN were very unusual. They were like 5.5 minutes. You don't ever see that. Usually it's on the second. You're like, okay, it's going to get unhalted. Boom, it gets unhalted. But this time, I don't know. Maybe there's something different with the New York Stock Exchange compared to the NASDAQ halts, but I have no idea. If you guys know, leave a comment below because please enlighten me. I'll tell you what I was on the wrong side of APRN the whole time. And that's why I didn't trade it the whole way up, because I usually like to have a certain amount of conviction behind a trade, behind the stock, behind the reason it's up. I like to kind of, be able to wrap my mind around it. But on APRN, I just couldn't. And I knew that at one point I'm going to be on the wrong side of this trade if I trade it. And that's kind of what happened. So it was halted so many times on the way up and then on the way down again. And on the way down, we had this move right here. This was about a 30% dip, just super aggressive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles. And then we had a nice little bounce here. The bounce wasn't too strong, but like 12, 13, 14%. And then we had another dip here, a 25%, little bounce here, like 10%. And then we had, this is when it started getting aggressive, 20%. Or $20. We tried to break back above it, didn't work. Pulled all the way back to 15. Did 3 minutes of just kind of fizzling in this area. This was already a 20% pullback. Then we pulled back to $14, and that's where my limit order got executed. You can see here at 14.27, and now we're down 28%. And believe it or not, then it gets halted, and I'm like, no, did we just get in a halt? And instantly it goes down here to like, what was this? Like like $10, 10 something. It was a little like 10.30 or something like that. And I was like, wow, this dip is aggressive. I mean, think about, actually, let me quickly go here. This dip was a 64, maybe 65% dip, huge. And then for my entry, we were down about 30% at one point. and my max stop loss is 5%. It was really hard to control this because it got halted, it was down 30%. It bounced up, it halted again. At no point would I've really been able to trade this. It got halted twice here, and I wasn't able to trade it till it was back about $12. And that's when I was only down about 10%. And I was like, okay, well, this is clearly, it's getting halted on the way up. This is clearly the bounce. And, that's why I decided to hold this a little bit longer. And I eventually got out as we reapproached the $14, $15 range, which is, former support, new long-term resistance. And that's why I got out. I was hoping that we would have a little bit bigger pop here to 1460 or 14, basically retest 15 to get out for even a small profit, which I know is way too much to ask for on a move like this, but, it could have happened. But then, we started consolidating in this area, and I was like, the last thing I want to do is be in this stock when it, pulls back again. So I closed this position for a small loss. And this was, I could just look at this stock all day. I mean, that bounce was really, really wicked. This was a, 42% bounce. Insane. I think tomorrow APRN, I don't know, it's probably going to be a pretty bloody day for APRN. I wouldn't be holding it anymore. We're officially on the backside of a move. You probably hear me say backside of a move all the time. Basically, it's when, these, first, second, third, fourth green days are over and you start kind of consolidating in this area. It gets choppy. You have maybe a few dead cat bounces on the way down. Basically, we had the big move to the upside, and now we're, on the big move to the downside. You don't know how long they're going to last. Sometimes they only last one day. Sometimes intraday, all of it happens at once. So you only have one big green spike to the upside, and then you have just, the same day in the afternoon or wherever it crashes to the downside. And that's just, you look back at the chart and you'll see something like this, where you just have basically a wick to the upside. That's typically what you see. So I don't know, APRN was just absolutely on fire. And, yeah, I was so wrong about APRN so many times, but even with this final trade, I'm just happy I was able to walk away live. We had so many other stocks like WTRH today that just, the way these things were moving were just ridiculous. This is on its second green day. I guess you could even say it's on its, no, I'm wrong, sorry. This is on its fourth green day as well. This is a food grocery delivery for a restaurant company. And again, really no catalyst on this one. Nothing to the point where I would say it warrants a move like this. I'm going to quickly go up here. Yeah, it's just up on coronavirus kind of macro news, but there's nothing really specific about this company. They had some earnings that went up. Earnings are sometimes really, really good. Their loss narrows, Q4 loss narrows, revenue doubles. But, if your revenue doubles, you shouldn't go from a company that was 21 cents and now trading at, above $4. I don't know. It's a bit ridiculous. So this one, again, could have been a little bit of a short squeeze. I wanted to dip buy this, and I wanted to dip buy this near former support area. And that's kind of what we did. I was very cautious. I waited for, this candle to crack, and then this one we were cracking. This is looking really, really good. And I was like, okay, looks like we could have a reversal, which on any other day with any other stock would have typically been the right decision. But this one gets halted, and boom, instantly we're down 10%. I'm like, what? How does that happen? So it gets halted, and then the same candle again, we rally up to the upside. I close my position, take my $3 profit. And I'm just like, what? That was insane. Again, that's just not a classic move. WTRH was a former runner, former lead gapper, just like APRN. So we have a lot of these stocks that are kind of coming back, kind of at the end of their run, I guess you can say. And I typically don't trade these. I definitely don't trade these breaking to the upside, although, this one would have been pretty good. We started making moves here from the pre-market, 326, break higher here, 345, have our first 1 minute pullback on the market open, break higher here, and then run all the way up to 4.4. That's a 27% move in just 3 candles. So yeah, I probably should have got aggressive maybe with WTRH at the market open, but fourth big green day is not when I want to be doing that. I want to be doing that on the first green day, maybe second, rarely on the third, definitely not the fourth, definitely not the fifth, because you'll see this eventually. You get huge morning panics where basically you have this move, but this is the market open here, and you don't know when it's going to happen, and it could have been on this first pullback. So I'm surprised it didn't happen. Not to mention, this is huge resistance area that it somehow tried to break through. Kind of impressive. Today was really a day of just awe. You could just look at the market and be like, wow, what is this? What is this ridiculousness? Let's go to our elite gappers. IFMK gapping up. What was this? Big move, like 75% gap up. I really wish I traded this one. This is, I have to moment of silence. 80% move. What I was looking for was a pullback to $2. This was our lead gapper, $21 million volume, a little bit light, 42 million market cap, 18 million shares outstanding, but the float was like 9 million. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. And not to mention, it had a catalyst. They're purchasing a medical company. I'm not totally sure why a medical company, but nonetheless, they have a nice catalyst, which is always really, really good news. Or that's what you look for when you trade these momentum stocks. Where is it due to? Acquire 70% equity interest in this medical technologies company, XFresh or iFresh. Is that what it's called? iFresh, yeah. So a classic, food delivery company, and this is typically what we're looking for. These companies that are in a way sympathy plays of stocks that just moved. I like that. BURG, which was our second lead gapper, similar situation, and first big green day, I would say. And the reason I think this is more the first big green day is because yesterday we had a decent move, but it was kind of just in this chop area. This is the first day where it's really that first iconic big green day, pre-market and everything. So I said I would have liked to trade this, maybe a red to green move, around $2, and that would have been the ticket. This thing ran 33% plus. So IFMK, I should have just placed the limit order there. I should have been like, boom, that's what I wanted. That's what I'm going to get. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But at least I called it out. And, it's nice when you call a trade out and then you trade it. It's horrible when you call a trade out and then you don't trade it or you trade it wrong. With IFMK, it would have been really, really nice. And so let me quickly NBRX was not elite gap or anything. It was a former runner. But I was watching this one. It was clearly on our previous watch list, and we had a nice big gap up morning. And then we're selling off the rest of the day. And this was a 240% gap morning. That's huge. What I was able to do, identify the fact that, 0.6, clear support and resistance levels. You can see we had bounces here. We had dips. We had fake breakouts. We had retests. And guess what? We pulled back to 0.6 today, and we had our first really nice bounce. I traded this with a smaller position size because of all the overall market risk, and I definitely got out too early. But we made a clean 11, 12% on this one really, really quickly, and that's what I look for. So NBRX, just like IFMK, that's what I should have been doing. IFMK, I should have been like, you know what? This is what I want to trade on it, or not IFMK. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Now I'm super confused. 1 second. Okay. It's because we were in the wrong time period. Yeah. So IFMK, I was like $2. That's what I want to be trading. With NBRX, I said it bounced off of 0.6 is what I want to be trading. So I went ahead and put a limit order at 0.62, and boom, I got that. I wasn't even watching it when I got the entry. So doing a similar move with IFMK would have been a good decision. Yeah. Let's go quickly to BURG. This was our other lead gapper. They also had similar news, or they're in the similar industry. Look how many times it was halted today, just insane. About a 92% move to the upside. I didn't want to trade it though once it opened because it was getting halted too much, and it was getting halted in a very unusual way. Let me quickly check what the news was. So yeah, they were spinning off restaurants, which I don't know. Is that good news? Is that bad news? What I don't know. What's important is check out all these former spikes. All these gap ups are totally failed. So you want to go in with BURG with that mindset that this is probably going to be a failed breakout, or failed to hold its highs. And that's what happened. 93% runs up, pulls back here, and it just gives back. Now it's below where it actually opened up. So and trading this whole thing, this move to the upside, would have been so difficult because it basically ran up, got halted, ran up, got halted, ran up, got halted. Each one of these candles was basically a halt. Yeah, really difficult to trade. So I basically said, BURG could have been cool, but I'm going to leave it alone. I don't like the spread on it. I don't like how there's extended decimal places. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's messy. Yeah, so somehow, crazy day today. And guess what? My planned trade, the trade that I wanted, was what brought me green on the day. Everything else was just chop and disaster. So I ended the day up basically 10% of what my position size was. My average position size on these 3 trades was about $1,000. I want to be trading with $1,500, but then I need to be trading only 2 trades. So, as we grow our account, we increase our position size. So either I do 2 trades with $1,500 or 3 trades with $1,000. And today, where the market is super sketchy and choppy, I'm going to be trading 3 trades. I'm going to reduce my risk, trade more, just kind of reduce the risk across different trades. And that way I don't have, because, what if that big APRN halt where we were down 30% would have been, a big allocation? I would have been freaking out. But, now trading with smaller position size, I was a little bit more okay the fact that that happened to us, and that's why I like to reduce my risk on days like today. Pretty fun little day. It was good fun trading with you guys like always. I can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. This whole month has been a great month. It's been tough to trade, but it's been a good month for us. Just tough on the small caps, and I really cannot wait for some smoothness to come back to the market so we can get a little bit more aggressive with the small caps again. I don't like being super sketched out on these small caps and knowing that market's going to open, but God knows if anyone's even looking at this small cap because the whole market is like just on fire. So guys, thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate that you guys are taking the time to constantly study and improve your own trading. The community has been really, really good fun, and I get some great trading ideas from you guys as well. If you like the content, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you're totally new here, definitely consider subscribing. I'd love to see you again. Till next time, guys, like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.